She thinks she's moved on until your silence starts talking louder than her pride. You've been quiet for days now, not because you stopped caring, but because you're finally too tired to explain yourself to someone who never really listened when it mattered. Maybe she's out there pretending she's fine, posting like nothing happened, laughing a little louder, showing the world she's unbothered. But deep down, you can't help but wonder, does she ever stop and think about you? Does she ever miss the way you showed up for her, the way your voice could calm her storms? If this is you, you know that silence isn't easy. It's not some mind game. It's peace, earned the hard way. Because this time, you're not chasing closure. You're not begging to be understood. You're done handing your energy to someone who never valued it. Maybe this feels familiar, that strange mix of freedom and ache. You finally stop reaching out, yet your mind still drifts to her name in the quiet. You catch yourself wondering if she notices the difference, if she feels the emptiness your silence left behind, because when you stop calling, she starts remembering. When you stop explaining, she starts questioning. And when the noise fades, that's when your absence gets louder than any message you could ever send. And now, somewhere between her pride and her midnight thoughts, she's starting to feel something she never expected. But here's the real question. What happens inside her when the man who once gave her everything suddenly gives her nothing at all? Most men get this part wrong because they think silence is supposed to make her miss you. They go quiet, hoping she'll come running back, and when she doesn't, they break and reach out again. But that's not real silence. That's just another form of chasing. True silence isn't about control. It's about clarity. It's the point where a man decides his peace means more than her attention. You're not withholding words to create reaction. You're withdrawing energy to regain respect, starting with your own. That's what most men never understand. Silence is not a tactic, it's a reflection of inner stability. See, the weak version of silence is fueled by fear. Fear she'll forget you, fear you'll lose her. But the strong version comes from acceptance, the kind that says, if she walks away, I'll still be fine. That's where real masculine strength lives, not in the noise of trying to prove your worth, but in the quiet confidence of knowing it. One of the hardest masculine principles to live by is this. You do not chase validation, you embody value. You don't speak to be heard, you speak when it matters, and when it doesn't, your silence does the talking. So when you go quiet, it's not punishment, it's alignment. You're reminding yourself that your time, your energy, your presence, those are privileges, not guarantees. And here's the part that most men miss. When you truly master that calm, detached silence, it stops being about her altogether. It becomes about you, your boundaries, your peace, your self-respect. Because the man who's not afraid to lose her is the man she can never forget. It's 2:37 a.m. The city outside is quiet, that strange, heavy kind of silence that presses against the walls. She turns over in bed again, her phone screen lighting up her face. Nothing, no message, no missed call, just the echo of a conversation she thought she'd already forgotten. Somewhere across town, you're sitting by the window, coffee gone cold, staring at the streetlights. You're not angry anymore, just still. You remember the last time you tried to explain yourself, how your words seemed to fall into a void, how she turned away like she already made up her mind. So you stopped talking. You stopped trying to convince someone who didn't want to understand. And now your silence has become the loudest thing in her world. She scrolls through old texts, the ones she swore she deleted, the jokes, the late night plans, the way you used to say her name. It all sounds different now, heavier. She types your name into the search bar, then erases it. Pride keeps her fingers still, but her heart's already restless. You lean back, eyes closed, realizing that peace doesn't come from being heard. It comes from finally not needing to be. The quiet that once felt unbearable now feels like control. For the first time, the silence doesn't hurt, it heals. Meanwhile, she lies awake in that same silence, replaying the moments she took for granted, wondering when your voice stopped chasing her, wondering why the calm she thought she wanted now feels like punishment. And as the night stretches on, she finally understands. Your silence wasn't absence, it was presence, the kind that lingers long after words have nothing left to say. Most men grow up believing silence is a weapon, that if you pull away long enough, she'll feel your absence and come crawling back. But that belief keeps you trapped in the same cycle that broke you in the first place. Silence isn't revenge, it's revelation. It shows you who you are when there's nothing left to prove, because if your quiet is still focused on her, you're not detached. You're just waiting for a response that validates you. The first false belief is that silence should make her miss you. That mindset keeps you addicted to her reaction instead of your recovery. The truth is, silence isn't about what it does to her. It's about what it rebuilds in you. When you stop speaking, stop explaining, stop reaching, you start hearing your own voice again, the one you buried trying to please her. That's not manipulation, that's healing. The second false belief is that if you stay silent, you'll lose her forever. But you can't lose someone who was never choosing you fully. What you'll actually lose is your dependency on being chosen. That's the shift. That's where your power returns. You stop performing to be loved and start existing as lovable and with or without her presence. And the third belief, the one that keeps men repeating the same mistakes, is thinking silence means weakness, that it's passive, cold, or dismissive. But real silence takes strength. It takes discipline not to prove your point, not to react, not to explain what's already been misunderstood. Sometimes silence isn't you walking away, it's you standing still while the wrong things fall off. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. Silence isn't punishment. It's proof you've outgrown the noise. When you stop chasing, your energy stops leaking. And that's when she finally feels what she lost. So if you're in that quiet now, don't rush to fill it. Let it teach you. Let it refine you, because when your silence comes from peace, not pain, it stops being about her altogether and becomes the moment you finally meet yourself again. The 1% headman doesn't use silence as a move. He lives it as a mindset. This is what he understands. Silence isn't about making her chase. It's about no longer chasing anything that costs him his peace. He doesn't retreat to get a reaction. He steps back to reconnect with himself, because when a man knows his value, distance isn't manipulation, it's maintenance. He doesn't fill the quiet with overthinking or scrolling through her page. He fills it with purpose, with training, building, creating, reflecting. While most men spiral in the silence wondering what she's thinking, the headman anchors himself in what he's becoming. His attention shifts from her absence to his evolution. That's why his silence carries weight. It's grounded, not emotional. This is how he leads with presence, not pressure. He knows that his energy communicates louder than his words ever could. He's not begging to be seen. He's becoming someone impossible to ignore. When she finally feels his absence, it's not because he vanished, it's because he elevated. His silence didn't punish her. It revealed the difference between attention and respect. The 1% headman understands that peace is magnetic. You can't fake it, you can't force it. When you stop trying to prove your worth, the world and the people in it start to respond to your energy differently. That's why his silence keeps her awake, not because she's confused, but because deep down she knows she felt something rare, a man who doesn't need her validation to stand tall. He doesn't chase emotions, he channels them. He doesn't speak to be heard, he speaks when it matters, and in a world full of noise, that kind of calm power is unforgettable. It happens quietly, not in some grand moment, but in the stillness of another sleepless night. You catch yourself reaching for your phone again, thumb hovering over her name, heartbeat caught between missing her and missing yourself. And that's when it hits you. You've been waiting for her to feel your absence, but all this time it's you who's been absent from your own life. You look around. The room feels different now. The silence that used to ache has softened. It's no longer a reminder of what's gone, but proof of what's returning. Your focus, your calm, your self-respect. You start to realize that the peace you were hoping she'd bring was never hers to give. It was yours, waiting for you to stop giving it away. A strange kind of strength rises in your chest. Not pride, not anger, just clarity. You remember the man you were before the constant explaining, before the second guessing, before your worth was tied to her responses. And you see him again in the mirror, a little wounded but awake. And for the first time, you don't want to text her. You don't want to make her understand. You just want to move forward. Because now you see it. Your silence was never about her. It was about you coming home to yourself. The waiting ends here. The wondering ends here. You've outgrown the need to be heard by someone who stopped listening long ago. And in that moment, you realize something powerful. Peace isn't found when she comes back. It's found the moment you stop needing her to. She stays awake, replaying the moments you never explained, feeling the weight of your absence in ways words could never capture. But you're no longer waiting for her to notice, no longer hoping for her approval. You've remembered yourself, your value, your calm, your peace. And in that quiet, something shifts. The power isn't in the silence itself, but in the man who owns it. Because when you stop needing her to feel, she finally realizes what she lost. And you finally realize what you were always worth. Your silence doesn't break her, it frees you.